Hello students, let's read the problem. And it says, Joseph took a math test with 50 questions. For each correct answer, he got 5 points. And for each unanswered or incorrect question, he loses 2 points. Joseph scored 124 points on his math test. Which system of equations can be used to determine the number of questions he answered correctly, x, and the number of unanswered or incorrect questions, y? So, what are we talking about? Well, we're talking about Joseph who took a test with 50 questions. And of course, he gets 5 points for the question that he gets correct, but he loses 2 points for every question that either he doesn't answer or he answers incorrectly. Okay? Now, what's important for us right now is to find out who's X and who's Y, right? I need to know what is the X represented with. So it says right here that he answered correctly will be X, okay? So that's the very first thing I need to know. Then the next one is, what about the one that he doesn't answer? Or maybe he gets them wrong. So those will be the Y values, okay? So now I determine who is going to be X and who's going to be Y. So that's the first thing we're going to do down here. We're going to write down X and Y. So the first thing that my advice is for you to do is you read the question, and of course you want to identify X and Y. So now I know that the question that he answered correctly is going to be X, and the ones that he doesn't answer, or maybe he gets them wrong, it will be the Y. Okay, so far so good? All right, so now we're gonna talk about what is it that those questions represents, right? So you gotta be able to see two equations here. The first one is gonna be mainly about how many questions are on the test. That's it. The second equation will be the one that talks about the points or the score that he gets. Okay, so we need to make sure that we can see the difference on these two. Okay, so I am gonna write down, and I'm gonna suggest you to do the same thing. So my first equation for me is gonna be something to do with the total questions, and the second one is gonna be with actually the total score or the grade that he gets. Okay, so very important that we see that. So I can put over here, this is like the grade that he gets. Okay, so in the total questions, think about it. It says that he actually gets how many questions on the test? There are 50 questions on the test. So that's actually the total questions that you have on the test. And of course, some of those he's gonna get them right, and some of those he might get them wrong, right? So would you agree then that the first equation can be easily written down as X plus Y equals 50, where X is the one that he gets correct and Y the one that he gets incorrect or unanswered. And both of them together has to be equals to 50. That's simple, right? Okay, what about the second one? Now the second one is a little bit more difficult, okay? But if we label correctly on the word problem, it shouldn't be. So let me go back after the 50 questions. It says, for each correct answer, he will get 5 points. Is that right? So right there, it says if he gets them correct, he will get how many points? 5 points. So what variable represents the correct answers? X, right? So I'm going to write down X over here. So now I can see that the 5 goes with the X. Is that right? Right there, 5 and X. Okay, let's continue. What does it say about the incorrect questions? Or probably he didn't even answer them, right? So for those, he's actually going to lose 2 points. So lose points means either minus or negative. Is that right? And we know that the unanswered questions are going to be represented with a Y. So right here, I want to write down a Y. Lose means maybe a negative or a minus, and there's 2 points that you're going to take away. So you see now I can see how the 5 goes with the X and that -2 goes with the Y. Is that making more sense? Okay, so very important that you write labels, guys. Okay, very, very important. So how is he going to get the score? Well, he's going to get 5 points for every question that he gets correct. So I'm going to write down 5x. Is that right? That 5 points for the number of questions that he gets correct. Okay, what about the 2 points that he's losing? Well, I can represent that with a minus. Is that right? And that would be minus 2y. Okay, and now that has to be equals to what number has to do with the total score? 124. Very good. Okay, so that has to be equals to 124. So if you look at the answer choices, I want you to see if you can identify which one is correct. So on letter A, I don't see x plus y equals 50 at all. So nope, they have x plus y equals to 124, and that's not right. Letter B, I do see that x plus y equals 50. On letter C, I don't see that, but I do see that on letter D, right? But just one of the equations. Let's find the second equation, which is this one over here. 5x minus 2y equals 124. Notice how this has a what number? Has a 50, but we had agreed that the top was already wrong, so double wrong, right? How about B? 5x minus 2y equals 124. That looks pretty good, right? What's wrong with the one on letter D? It actually has a plus, and we're not adding. We're taking away because he's losing 2 points for every question that he gets wrong or he did not answer. So that's what is wrong with that one. Okay, so we can see that the answer for this has to be, of course, letter B.